Yo, what's going on, you fantastic humans? Jack here at 360 Fitness. I'm going to be coming at you guys with some more Facebook Lives in the next few weeks. And today's topic is all about sleep. So I'm going to give you guys five kind of background and kind of little tips that you might not think about that might help you get your sleep a hell of a lot more dialed in. So first and foremost, guys, we can't preach enough how important sleep is for your health and your fitness. Sleep dictates the other, 20 hours, the other 16, 18 hours of your day. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you are not going to perform well into the gym. Your weight loss and fat loss will be slowed, if not entirely plateaued. Your hormone fluctuations will go off the charts. And you're probably going to eat more too with the hormone imbalances, with ghrelin, leptin, even testosterone and estrogen fluctuations with sleep. I can't stress enough, guys, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you are on a fat loss journey, if you are on a performance journey, a strength training journey, you need to prioritize your sleep above a lot of other things. It more or less just comes down to nutrition, water, and then sleep. And then all the other fun stuff kind of falls in. You really need to focus on your sleep. Getting a good 6 to 8 hours of good quality restful sleep is very, very important. So I'm not going to talk about the tips like how much sleep to get and when to go to bed. You guys know that fun stuff and you know what works for you. But the kind of tips that I'm going to be talking about are little things that you can do to kind of prepare your bedroom and kind of prepare your mindset for a better sleep. So don't mind me looking down. I just wrote down some notes. I'm a blabberer, so if I don't forget. And then also, guys, these tips are really, really helpful, but we did write a sleep guide and we shared it with our members. We shared it with the public. But if you haven't grabbed it yet, I'll put the link somewhere around this thing. And then if you're watching this on Instagram, you can watch it in our bio. The link is in our bio, I should say. Okay, so tip number one, guys, you got to keep your bedroom in a good temperature. So lots of studies are coming out that about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, or about 65-ish Fahrenheit is best for sleep. Have the room a little bit cooler. Your internal body temperature comes up when you're in a catabolic state, when you're in sleep, and then also with the comforters and all that fun stuff. So make sure that your thermostat is kind of set for about 18 to 20 degrees. Use windows or whatever else you got to do. This is really important for our Alberta summers. They get really, really hot. Even if you have to go down to the basement or invest in some good fans or an AC, it's super, super important. But 18 to 20 degrees, guys, it's super easy in the winter with Alberta, more or less cranking up the heat to get there. Another thing is too, guys, you got to figure out your noise. You got to figure out your noise patterns, or not your noise patterns, but the patterns of noise that you fall asleep to. So you need to really assess whether you're a dead quiet kind of person or whether you want to have an ambient white noise sound. And you need to make sure that your partner and your spouse is on the same page, or if you guys can figure out a different way around it, whether the sound machine is on different sides of the bed or what have you. But really, really assess whether you want to have a dead quiet bedroom or whether you want to have ambient sound. If you're with your partner, talk to your partner about this. Make sure your goals are clear cut and that they're going to get on board with you. So I got a liver. Awesome. Hi. And so if you guys are talking about that, figure it out. If you're the person that kind of wakes up or gets really irritable about the slightest sound, okay, you're a dead sleeper and you're a dead quieter, so make sure that your room is dead quiet on that. If you like that nice soothing rhythmic sounds, invest in a noise machine, or there's tons of little apps in your phones that are absolutely free, between like rain sounds, stream sounds, ocean sounds, jungle sounds, or even just like brown noise, which is kind of like a static sound. But take a look at that. Really, really invest into it. I know with my kids, especially my firstborn, he needed some ambient sounds, and then my second kid was totally different. So we kind of just different patterns and really found out some trial and error. Okay. Another thing, guys, is that you got to get over it. And if you're a sheet hogger, or if your partner is a sheet hogger, you got to just invest in 2 comforters and 2 sets of sheets. So I think the studies I've been reading, it's more or less just North America that has kind of 1 comforter and 1 sheet for 2 people in bed. The rest of the world is kind of ahead of the game, and they're a lot more open to just having 2 comforters and 2 sheets. So if you're finding that you're kind of wrestling with your partner to get sheets back, pulling back and forth, all those little micro wake-ups, they add up big time in the week, and it's with your circadian rhythm, it screws with your sleep patterns. And think about it, if you're waking up 4 or 5 times, so is your partner waking up 4 or 5 times. So just like get over it. It doesn't mean you guys aren't intimate. It doesn't mean you don't love each other. Just fucking invest in 2 comforters. And then if you like light comforters or heavy comforters, they can have the opposite. It's super, super important, guys, if you're a big sheet hogger. And I know I am. So I might have to get my comforters updated here. This is another kind of sneaky little thing that I was reading a lot more on studies, and it's about decluttering your room. And especially if you kind of have an analytical brain, kind of OCD brain like me, if I'm frustrated and I can't fall asleep, I look around the room. You know, my eyes are all open and stuff, and if I see kind of a mess or a clutter, then what do I want to do? I want to go clean that up. So your mind is kind of looking around the room for things to do, like different landscapes and different stuff, and it's kind of looking for silhouettes that are out of place. And if you're that kind of person, declutter your room first. You know, close the bathroom door if you have an ensuite, close the hallway door, declutter your desks, declutter the bedstands, that kind of stuff. Put things in order. I know this sounds super OCD, but if you have me, sup Lauren, if you're like me and you kind of have that OCD brain and you're super frustrated that you can't fall asleep and you start scanning the room, just declutter it first. Okay, and then this one is the final the fifth tip. This is really, really important for me. I am terrible with screen time before bed. You know, I'm checking my work emails, I'm kind of looking at sports scores, you know, I'm scanning Wikipedia, just like nonsense stuff. But I do like to have a little bit of screen time before bed. It kind of just calms me down a little bit. It's kind of like how I read my books at night. It's my book that I kind of read. But a huge game changer for me was, you know, I turned my screen brightness down and everything else, but I put on a blue light filter. And this was huge. I was doing some homework into this. Studies are showing that blue light more or less triggers your brain to stay awake. It kind of thinks of it as the sun, and it's more or less giving you your daytime hormone production at a high end. Okay, so if we can cut off the blue light filters, or turn on your filters to cut off the blue light, those more or less the serotonin levels will come down. Your natural melatonin productions will come up. So even if you can limit the screen time. Limit the screen time, but if you're finding that screen time is just an important factor or it's just not going away, even on smart TVs, even some older guys, or if you're on your phone or your iPad or whatever else, turn on the blue light filter. Okay, guys, this video is going over long, but super important that you guys get some sleep. It helps with fat loss, it helps with weight loss, it helps with strength training, it helps with performance, your mood, everything about you. Okay, who you are as a person is dictated by your sleep patterns and how well you're getting your sleep, and it's all about quality and not so much about quantity, right? It has to be in the middle there. So this is it, guys. I have that sleep guide. I'll put it around somewhere else. If you guys have any kind of weird tips that have helped you to get better sleep, let me know. And also, guys, let me know in the comments. I'm going to be kind of doing themes every month, you know, whether it's sleep, or last month was about restoring your core, and before that was about, you know, healthy dining out, things like that, where I kind of have one focus each month, and then give you guys a ton of resources, ton of studies and articles and kind of peer-reviewed journals towards that subject, so you can really dive in from day 1 to day 30. If you guys are kind of liking that pattern, members and our fans, let me know. But I will talk to you guys later. Get some sleep. Bye.